Music Production.
All right, let's look at Hut 8 Corp here. Okay, this is the NASDAQ version. Again, main thesis here, we're trying to escape a massive accumulation zone. So you can mark it off as a horizontal box. You can mark it off as one launch pad here, right? So here's the horizontal box. That's what it looks like. You can mark it off as like this is the resistance zone, and we have this massive launch pad that's trying to develop right now, right? So we're still under a major point in the chart, which that point would be around, call it $18.50. This is, again, the setup we're looking at still. Why would the only concern I have here is the weekly time frame, the past couple weeks. We see a massive influx of bullish volume coming into the stock, but it completely gets wiped out the next 2 weeks after that. It's the only really kind of concern. Otherwise, this just needs time. We got the Bitcoin ETF. That's still a potential. Still waiting on that bullish catalyst to be confirmed or not. We have the Bitcoin halving. I think that's definitely a lot more significant, especially for miners. Now, these two catalysts in general, and again, Bitcoin mining fees are at all-time highs. So Bitcoin miners are making the most amount of money that they've ever made from fees now, right? And this is going to increase in the future as well. But this is what we're kind of looking at here. This is the perspective. You could zoom in a little bit further on this chart. We can call it the 2-day time frame. Let's look at that. What we're paying attention to here is this zone. This is the zone we spent most time under throughout the past 2 years. We're around 600 plus days under this zone compared to like less than 100 days above this zone. So what we need is this zone here. The zone I'm talking about is the 1150 to 1350 zone. Okay, let's call it $11.50 to $13.50. That zone, that needs to flip from supply to demand. Now, in order for that to happen, we need to hold this area and spend a few weeks in this zone developing a base, right? So that's what we want to see. Now, again, if we highlight this major zone that we continuously reject from very hard, once, twice, 3 times, we get this super sharp correction, sharp correction, again, sharp correction. What this could be signaling right now is that the supply up here way out meets the demand, right? What we want to see is something develop in this range now. Instead of this getting completely washed out, just like this time it got washed out all the way back to this accumulation zone, gets completely washed out into this accumulation zone back in August, and this happened in August 2022, August 2023. It's January 2024. We do not want to see this wash out, which is why this zone here, if we start to develop a reversal, will be a massive buying opportunity. So that's what we need to look out for in the coming weeks. To expect in the next few months is some sort of a base to develop in between this area. And then we want to see us hang around this zone and create higher lows up into this $18 area. So eventually, throughout the year, we could potentially get that breakout, right? So that's what we're looking for. So let's zoom back and let's assume this is what's happening. Weekly time frame. Let's assume we're still in a massive accumulation zone. If that's the case, when we compare to this chart here, where do you think we are? This is how we have to start to think. We have to start to think, what is the average market psychology right now? The average person who does no due diligence, they put no effort into learning the charts, really understanding what they're investing in, right? So there's people probably still holding their bag from up here, right? And every time the stock comes up to this $18 range, all they pay attention to is, oh, look, it went up here once, twice, and then we had a sell off. Came up here and again, it came up here in this zone again, and they're probably thinking, this is my last chance. I want to sell. Let this fizzle out as many sellers as it's going to take before we get an explosive move to the upside, right? And that explosive move, I think, will take us to around the $35 zone. Why I say that? It's a clear area. If we look at the Fibonacci retracement level, I don't really like looking at this too much. But if we look, the first target is around the $35 area. Second target, $45 area. The golden pocket, which, you know, market cycles tend to lean towards the golden pocket. That's why I have it highlighted. Is around $55 here, right? So check out my Twitter on X. I do have my bullish targets for HUT if you scroll down my tweets. So if you're interested in looking at that, check me out on X. But for the most part, that's the breakdown here that we're looking at on HUT 8. Easy.